live on the streets of New York City on this channel, on Lionel Legal. This is the sister channel, so to speak, of our Lionel Nation. So I want to thank you for being with us. It is such a beautiful day. It's about 75, maybe? I'm on the Hudson River. Let me give you an idea just so that you can verify this. This is in one of the various parks. This, across from us, as you can see, is New Jersey. And there is, we're in one of the various parks up along the Hudson. It's absolutely beauteous. People are just soaking in the sun and enjoying the company. I forgot to tell you, on the other channel, this, I believe, a while back was referenced or was thought of as being a FEMA camp of some sort, or a holding center. This, straight ahead, where that long, ugly obelisk building is, this is 57th Street. This is a building whose looks like a cheese grater on its side. So we are on the west side of Manhattan, and we are, go back here we go. And the sky is filled with helicopters and craft, notwithstanding the tragedy that happened recently with the poor family from Spain. I wanted to speak about a couple of things on a jurisprudential, legal nature, and that is simply this. Have you wondered, what does one do in the Shannon Sharp case, Diddy, others, when people are, when people are found, are accused of sexual impropriety? What is the best way to handle it? Is it a good idea to keep your mouth shut? Is it a good idea to take on an active kind of a media attack, to publish text messages from the accused to show that it was consensual? When you show that, does it affect you? Does it affect your career? Granted, you're being, in this particular case, I believe, Shay, as in Club Shay, I believe he's being, I think it's a civil matter, it's not criminal. I'm of the old school. I think you should ignore things. It never happened. Every time you refer to something, every time you talk about something, every time you reference something like that, you end up causing more people to say for the first time, hey, I didn't know anything about that. Hey, thanks for telling me about that. Thanks for filling me in. Thanks for letting me know all about this. I didn't know anything about this case and your penchant for impropriety and your weird sexual predispositions. I didn't know anything about that until you told me this. I don't understand why people say this. I really don't. I think the best way to do it is going to shake your head and say, I don't know. Remember when Elon was alleged to have sired his 50th child with his latest Ashley St. Cloud or whatever? I don't know. They all sound like adult actresses. I'm not saying she is. They just have that kind of a weird sound, kind of a phonetic timbre to their nomenclature. But he pretty much said, the settlement was quiet. He pretty much owns the media to an extent. That's the best way to do it. Just say, I don't have time for this. And you also send a message to people that you are not to be trifled with, that you don't take the bait. But the question I have is, from a jurisprudential point of view, don't you think it probably makes more sense to just not confront things in the media? Unless you are so hooked on the media, unless you are so addicted to the media that you have to do it. That's one thing. Let me see if anybody's there. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is this man. Hope you can't hear him. He's this demented man talking to himself. Technically, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to you. And for those who have just found me, I rediscovered this particular format. Here I am in the greatest city in the world. I have more natural backdrops and I haven't used it. I haven't been availing myself of it. What inspired me to do this, interestingly enough, was my good friend Anthony Cumia, who recently walked up and down 57th Street repeatedly, much to the chagrin and dismay and fright of New Yorkers, but I kid, of course, because it's true. But he was in front of the Osborne Hotel where Gig Young, I believe, breathed his last breath, and I thought, wow, Gig Young lore. Pretty arcane, pretty recondite, but that's our Anthony. So I thought, wait a minute. I used to do this. I did this thing called Periscope or something one time. And it really was a hit. And I stopped. And this is a perfect way to do it. I get out. You can hear the relentless din of helicopters. It's a beautiful day. I can pick a particular topic that I find interesting or not, speak to you, put it up, beg for money, get monetized, and exploit and merchandise my incredible talent all at one time. So I think it's kind of a win-win, no matter how you look at it. But that was one question. This Shannon Sharp. Why are you... They need me. I feel in my particular stage of life, I understand, I think, the media and human behavior better than anybody. Let me give you another example. There are a lot of folks I watch and I listen to on the YouTube, speaking of the Middle East. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, you know, I appreciate what you do. There are people who are making the case and advancing the notion that Israel is committing genocide, both under various treaties, the ICC, ICJ, the definition of it, UN resolutions, Bet Salem, and anyway. And I said, let me explain something to you. You may be absolutely 100% correct. But most Americans right now do not have the Middle East as a top of mind awareness, as an issue that compels them. I'm sorry to say this. I know this. My friend looked at me in horror because he lives and breathes this, as though I said, but Americans don't care about this. I'm sorry to say this. I'm not trying to be rude. Americans don't care about this because they view the Middle East as being something that's just this crazy hotbed of problems and death and terrorism. They don't know a Houthi from a hole in the ground to a Hezbollah to a Hamas. They have no idea. From the time that they've lived, they've heard nothing but horrible, horrible things that happen in, quote, the Middle East. So now you're trying to break through that by saying, no, this is different. So it is different. Each individual case is different. And I'm not looking at this in any way other than from a public relations, political point of view. The other thing which I find interesting is the term, and I mentioned this on the other channel, the term anti-Semitism is being used, I believe incorrectly, to denote and to describe. See this guy behind me?
What is the irony?
Everywhere I go, he's behind me. He's talking loud. He's like, I'm over here, pal. Leave me alone. Anyway, anti-Semitism is a belief, is a thought. Anti-Semitism, racism, xenophobia, misandry, misogyny, homophobia, whatever your thought is, it is a thought. It's an idea. It's hate, perhaps, but it's protected speech. Protected speech from the government suppressing you. The government. We went through this whole nonsense during COVID. Remember that when people's social media accounts were being shut down because of giving misinformation. that when people claimed that the First Amendment was being violated, they said, oh, no, this is not the government doing this. This is a private concern. And later on to the Twitter files, we found out, no, the social media platforms were being used as proxies for the government in any event. I want to leave you with this idea. Hate speech, hate ideation, hate is protected speech. The moment your hate, or you could say, oh no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm pro-Palestinian, or I'm not anti-Palestine. I'm pro-Israel, and that's why I do these terrible things. That doesn't work. Once anything that you believe in or profess to believe in results in the victimization or the pain and suffering and the damage to other people, that's a different story. It changes everything completely. That's a different story. There is a word that my good friend Sean Atwood refers to as PDF file. And it starts off with PEDO. And why I have to speak like this as an adult on this format to get around algorithms never ceases to amaze me. Say what you want about AM radio. You don't have to do that. You can say what you want. Just don't say the dirty words and you're fine. In any event, those folks who are proponents of that PDF philia as disgusting, by the way, that's a form of chronophilia. And of that particular rubric, there's ephebophilia, hebophilia, gerontophilia. These are people who feel a particular attraction or sexual inclination towards elderly, and chronophilia deals with age. But those are thoughts. Those are likes. Those are fantasies. You can be a proponent of cannibalism in your mind. You can sit back and ideate and cerebrate and fantasize about being a cannibal, so long as you don't do it. Because remember, this is being done on purpose. They want to obfuscate, they want to destroy the blood-brain barrier between idea and action. All right, I'm gonna leave it on that serious note, but that's what life is. So anyway, this has been a Lionel, live from the west side of Manhattan. Notice how kids today can't say the T's. Manhattan, Little, Martin. Anyway, I'm in Manhattan, at the outskirts of what we call Hell's Kitchen on the west side. It was indeed a pleasure to be with you. If you appreciate what I'm doing, if you'd like to say thanks, I'll take increments of $100, payable either through super chats or Patreon. I kid, of course, but not really. Because remember one thing, YouTube is all about this. It's not about ideas. It's not about thought. It's about this. Money? No. This. One of my favorite jokes. Have a great day, my friends. We will talk to you later. And until then, remember these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.